Yeah, Dak Prescott is a MVP. But here on the next fact or crap here, guys, Kevin said it's the best. Was it Kevin that said it? Yeah. Kevin said it best is that turnovers cost us games. Turnovers lose you games. And one of the biggest, storylines so far this season have been the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have been doing very, very well with Joe Flacco. The problem is Joe Flacco likes to throw interceptions as well. So the narrative around Joe Flacco is he threw like 13 touchdowns in the month of December, more than all of the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback combined all season long. So we got to ask this question, fact or crap, guys, will Joe Flacco be the reason of the the reason the Cleveland Browns lose to the Houston Texans on Saturday? Hoffy, kick it first, man.
No, I expect Joe Cool, from years past where he went on that run. What was it, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions? Yes, he had 8 interceptions in his 5 games this year. He had week 1 coming off the couch and coming off of, driving his minivan full of kids. He had 1 interception, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Week 2, he had 2 interceptions against the Texans. He had 3 the following week against the Bears. Since then, he had 1 against Jacksonville and 1 against LA Rams. So I don't think that it's going to be an issue. Actually, I mixed those dates up. So he started with, 1 interception each of his first 2 games. He then had the 3 interception game against the Bears, 2 against Houston, 1 against the Jets. But no, I expect playoff Joe to be there. And again, a lot of those turnovers were, again, in the plus side of the field. So as long as he doesn't turn the ball over on his side of the field, he also has I think they finished number 1 defense in the league. So he has a defense
at
that
home
can bail him out of those turnovers. So, they're going to be, I think they're going to be just fine. If they can keep the 1, maybe 2 turnovers that he might have in the game to hold them to field goals. I think him and Njoku have shown that they can, drive the ball up and down the field. He's got Cooper. I mean, he's got weapons to where you can get into a shootout with the Browns and they'll be okay. So even if they have some turnovers, they get down, we saw it against the Jets. They were up 21-0 in no time. So I don't think that the turnovers will be what does them in.
Okay. So I heard your stats, I heard your story, and the simple fact of the matter, Kevin said it best. If you turn the ball over, you normally lose a game. So the Browns obviously have a lot of optimism going into this playoffs, right? They've been locked into the playoffs for a few weeks now. They're on their 5th string quarterback, 4th string quarterback, whatever you want to call it. But the Texans have a -10 turnover differential this season. And the Ravens, who they're likely to play in the second round if they do beat the Texans, have a +12 turnover. And the Steelers are +11. The Dolphins are +2. And so are the Buffalo Bills. So basically what that means is that there are teams out there that take care of the ball better than the Cleveland Browns. The Dolphins take care of the ball better. The Buffalo Bills take care of the ball better. The Ravens and the Texans. And oh, by the way, they're playing the Texans in the first round. So I do feel at some point turnovers are going to come back and bite the Cleveland Browns in the ass. Yes, their defense is a top defense, Hoffy, but that is when they're at home. At home, the Cleveland Browns have the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. On the road, they're 30th. So if you are going to have Joe Flacco turn the ball over and you're playing on the road and your defense is sus on the road, it is going to come back and bite you in the ass. And hopefully for Browns' sakes, it is not against the Texans. Because the Houston Texans are a team that I do not want to see win a playoff game. Now, if I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, if I had the opportunity to play the Buffalo Bills or the Houston Texans in the second round, or in the playoffs period, give me the Buffalo Bills. Because we don't know who the Houston Texans are. but the turnovers are going to come back and bite Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns in the ass. May not be week 1, but week 2 it definitely will.
I mean, Joe Flacco did improve his completion percentage week over week. 2 weeks ago, he played the Houston Texans and they beat them 36-22, and it was in Houston. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and they still, beat them by 14. So I think he might have. He'll probably. It's the NFL. Turnovers are going to happen. If he has 1, even if he has 2, I don't think that really necessarily does him in against the Texans. I do agree with you 100% that you face a team like the Buffalo Bills, you face the Ravens, you face the Chiefs. They will absolutely kill you if you turn the ball over. But I think this week against the Texans, you can afford to have a turnover, possibly 2, and you're still could win that game. I think the Texans, as you like to say, are still a little wet behind the ears. I think they blew their load a little prematurely. I think that next year they'll be a much better team. They've also had a couple injuries. Their number 1 wide receiver's been injured. I think they have a defensive injury on that side of the ball as well. But I do think that if Joe Flacco turns the ball over against teams like the Ravens, Bills, the Chiefs, that's when it could hurt.
So
it will hurt. That's when they'll be done.
We got Robert Tree in the chat here, and he says, your Ravens don't want to see the Browns. Honestly, I think the Browns want to see the Ravens. The Ravens want to see the Browns.
Who said there are Ravens?
I think he was talking to Ant. But and then Ant and then Ant comes back and chats back and says, why don't we Lamar is 7-4 against them, meaning the Browns. So they're kind of chatting back and forth, meaning like obviously this is going to be big news next week if that were to happen, a little AFC North battle. But the Cleveland Browns need to take care of the ball, I think, because the Houston Texans defense is fairly good. They did draft Will Anderson this season, and he, if CJ Stroud hadn't been playing out of his mind, Will Anderson would be the talk of Houston, because Will Anderson has quietly had a great season for the Houston Texans. But
yeah, they very well might have the offensive and defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, probably. Because when you think about defensive players, if Christian Gonzalez wouldn't have went down week 3, he would have easily probably been the defensive player of the year. Sorry, Patriots fans, is that too soon?